All right. Welcome, welcome. We are so excited today. We have some great guests that we're going to be talking about self love. And I don't know about you guys, but February has been a great time to have love, talk about love, and really focus on how we can give to others, but also making sure that we do so for ourselves. I think that is really important. So I'm excited for you to join us. I am LaChelle, also known as America's Supermom. And my platform is all about making sure that we do have that right combination of self love when it comes to taking care of ourselves so that we can give to others. I help women kind of navigate through this chaotic um, balance, and I help them to get clarity and confidence through that whole process. So I'm excited to be here with one of my co hosts. We actually have two that we come together, the three of us, but one of us is doing some other things behind the scenes. That's how it is with moms and women. Everything is going on in the background. And so we have to navigate through it all. So Raschell Harlingten is also our co host, and she may join us later, but in the event that she doesn't, we want to definitely shout her out. She has a podcast, and she is all about having spaces where people could tell their story through her podcast. So, with that being said, I'm going to yield the mic over to you, Misty. How are you today?
I am amazing. I've had a fabulous day. We have sunshine here, which unfortunately I happen to know Raschell does not have. She's in under like 7 feet of snow right now. So she's been having here she comes on now. Yay. I was afraid you were buried under the snow. Well, I'll wrap up my intro and you can tell us how you're doing. I'm Misty Lee, Campground TBD and Campground TBD Publishing. Just like it sounds, I run a campground and a publishing company. Not like Lakita. She would be the next step in a publisher's path. I'm a lady who helps people get something and write through it or write to it, just to get your feet in the water and figure out what does it even mean to put your words on paper. And that's how I help serve. Then I'll pass you on to someone else if you want to take it a little bit further. And now I can't wait to hear what's going on in your world, Raschell, under snow.
Well, it did melt a little bit, so thank goodness. But it was insane. It was now, but now it's like a flood. There's so much snow. It's like there's so much water everywhere, and it's like quicksand. So I'm just like, who's controlling this weather machine? They need to stop. So anyway, so my name is Raschell Harlingten. I am in Toronto, Canada, the snowy belt of the world. And I'm a transformational coach and CEO and founder of Roots for Success, where we really support people in transformation of where they are to where they want to be. I am also a published author, and I host a podcast called The Transformational Soul Talks, where I get to share so many beautiful stories from people worldwide who shared their transformation of where they were and where they are now. And as I always like to say, if that one story changes someone's life, if it supports them in some way, then I've done my job.
Love that. So I'm excited about today's topic because we're talking about self-love, and we've got a few guests on that are really taking it up a notch with showing how other people can practice self-love and sharing their transformational stories in order to empower others. So, I love this topic because it really resonates with my own journey. I was busy trying to think that I was giving love to other people, but it was coming from scarcity, from lack, that kind of mindset, and just burnout, right? I really didn't have anything to give, but I was thinking because I was going through the motions that I was, but it wasn't until I had my own journey and rock bottom experience that I learned that, man, I don't know what I was doing, but it was not self love and it was not showing love to other people. So I'm excited about this conversation and where we're going to be headed with it today. So, Misty, tell me your thoughts about it.
Well, I was just excited what you were talking about. So I'm going to wait my turn.
Go ahead.
I know I was jumping around in my chair, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Oh, I'm really excited. I love to hear stories of transformation. I mean, I am all about that. I'm a transformational coach, so I love to hear about it because, as you said, it really it really shows how you've grown and changed as a person, and now how you're serving other people to help them move through that change. And that is so important, because you need that community, you need that support, because we're all one. And so we all need that support from everybody who's gone through it maybe a few steps ahead of us, but can give us the support to kind of give us that lift up to carry us along our way. So really important, and such a great topic.
And thanks. So Raschell, you gave me the perfect segue for this to not sound like I was going to talk about myself when you called my name. So that's what I love about because that's what we do here, is whatever you need to get out, let's just write through it and write to it. It's not about the bad thing that happened. It's just about letting some of the steam out so that you're not pouring into others. You're actually overflowing into others. And that's what I was getting excited about, LaChelle, but I wanted to wait, because I think writing, whether you do it professionally or for yourself, really helps you decide what you can share and what you're taking from yourself. So if it's an overflow or a pour. And so we want to serve others, but we can't be taken from ourselves. It's got to be the overflow. And I think writing helps. It helps me be able to go back and fact check myself if I'm using my energy in the right places. So whether if I'm serving or if I'm using service as an excuse not to go back and, or an alibi not to go back and handle something in my own house.
Awesome.
So that's what.
I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to get started where we have a gentleman who is 25 years old, and he is passionate about mental health, and he's going to be joining us. And then we're going to add our other guests who are talking about how they are pouring into other women, especially how they are empowering them to be able to say yes to themselves. Just recently we had a call last night, exactly on for this platform, because we've had several guests, and we called the panel "No Excuses." Just plunging through and not thinking about the ways that we can't do something, but thinking about how we can. And so, no, to me, it's just a negative word. So we've changed the title of the panel to Bold Voices now, because, you really have to think about the power of language and what you're saying and what you're allowing to take place in your mindset and your belief system. So, right after these messages, we're going to be joined by our first guest, Deshaun Williams. And then we're going to have the other panel of guests join us for this conversation on self-love. So we will be right back after this. Welcome to Real Life Without Excuses. I am America's Supermom.
Yeah, I love how we had our own fall festival. Whenever, that was just too funny. That was fun.
Recognize who you are, what you'd like to see in your life, and who you'd like to partner with.
I love that. And, that's coming from a place of power.
She makes. I have written with women who have been through things I could not even imagine. You can tell the old story. Don't dwell on the old story, because most of your friends are not trauma counselors. Awesome. So we are so glad that you're here joining us. And I see we've got some people that are watching right along with us. And we have some entertainment in the background. I don't know how much you're able to hear. I have a songstress for a daughter, and she's just singing all over the place. So, I'm trying to be in a quiet area, but that's what's going on in my neck of the woods. Okay. But so excited to have Deshaun here with us. We actually met on Clubhouse. And I'm excited to have him here today because he's 25. And I just think, wow, if I was that emotionally intelligent at that age, how much further along I would be. How many different landmines would I have avoided if I had had the insight that he has. So I just want to first start out and say, welcome, Deshaun, to the show. And please share a little bit about yourself and tell us about this program that you are doing for the month of March.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me on today. It's greatly appreciated. So, my name is Deshaun Williams, 25 years old, from South Carolina. Mental health ambassador, advocate, speaker, um, even host a podcast named On the Issue, and an author as well. And so, um, you know, I've I'm also a suicide. I've I'm a suicide attempt survivor, so that's how I got into this field, and this is why it's very near and dear to me. When it comes to this program, it's called We Matter and We Matter Awareness and Change, and it's going to start March 12th. And what it is going to do is it's going to teach all those that do come for this course, for this webinar rather, about the three different levels of depression, the steps that we can take to start advocating, realizing what some of the underlying issues are, some of the signs, some of the symptoms that are and that do come up when it comes to depression. How many people actually struggle with depression in the 2020 data, which has been updated, but also what the CDC has released for the 2021 year as well. It'll also have some details on how to get involved in mental health advocacy and the rights that you have if you feel like a person is a threat to themselves or to others. So this is definitely a program that I think would be very useful because this talk is cheap. It's definitely time for us to start standing up and take and making that action.
Love that. And I appreciate your transparency. And, it takes a lot of courage to kind of share our story. I just feel like it's so funny. I get on different podcasts and people are like, well, if you feel comfortable talking about this, if not, we can do something else. And I'm just like, I'm an open book. And I think, the reason is being able to be healed from that. You know, you're not really in it where it's still really bothering you, although it might have been a dark place that you were in, but having the courage to share and be transparent and vulnerable, I think that is awesome, especially, for your age, because at this age, we care a lot about what people think. We say we don't, but we do. I look at my kids and they're all into TikTok and how many likes they got and or Instagram, did anybody like it or comment, share it, and all these different things. So I think that is amazing. So I want to open it up for the co-hosts if they have a question or something to ask or something they want to add.
I'll go if that's okay. Thank you for your share. Yes, that was beautiful, and I appreciate your transparency. I think that what we have here, Deshawn, and you at such a young age, we have such a beautiful space to show the world that this is what life looks like. This is not what people with a certain illness looks like. This is what life looks like when some people in society have cancer and some people have a mental health issue today and some people have the flu. And we just need to learn to coincide, because I wouldn't hesitate to tell you if I was running a fever, but I would hesitate to tell you if I was having some thoughts. But we talked about this quite a bit on some of the other shows I've done with LaChelle, teaching or just being that really great example. And I'm going to use you. You're a young male. You're not the candidate for talking about your feelings. So it's all the more important you be the example. So I love that you're doing that at such a young age and letting everyone know from early on, this is how we actually live life. So bravo. And thank you for that, for being an example for that genre. That demographic, I should say.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today, because I think the awareness that we have in this day and age is a lot more than what it was when I was a kid. And I can say that because I was in that place at the age of 15 where I had a lot of those really negative thoughts and there was no support. And I remember trying to actually attempt to do it, and all I got done was shuffled off to the hospital and my stomach pumped, but there was no recourse after to sort of give me the support. It was just like, okay, stiff up, keep going, you just do your thing. So I'm really, really glad that it's become so public that people now can talk about it, because it wasn't back in the late 80s. Nobody talked about it. It was like, shh, don't talk about that. So it is really good that it is. And I can, as a mother and having a daughter during COVID who became depressed, and I got really scared because at that age, they needed all of that environment to talk to people, and they were shut down. And I remember she would sit on house party just so she could talk to her friends. And I started to get really worried because she wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. I thought, oh my God, am I going to go down this same road with my daughter? But I was able to kind of get her out of the house every day, go for walks with the dog, because back when the COVID was, there was nothing. There was no support. Everything was closed. So really glad that you're here today to really share your message.
Gotta love these microphones when you're on mute and everything. So definitely, we really are glad that you're here. And you said it was March 12th. And can you give information? And while you're doing that, actually, you could put it in the private chat, but you can share it. And then I'll create a banner that can go on the bottom of the screen as we bring our other guests on, because this is an important topic. So back to you, Deshawn, on how people can find out about it, how they can sign up. We're excited to hear more.
So I actually put it on Eventbrite so that others can just easily go to it. There is a minimum fee of $50, so it is a paid webinar. All this money will end up going back into my nonprofit organization to continue doing research.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's on Eventbrite. It will be held in a private Facebook group as well. So once it's paid for, I will get the notification, and then I will send over the Facebook group link to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And we appreciate you doing the great, important work that you're doing. So anything that we can do to support, please just let us know. And any posts and things, just keep it coming our way so we can definitely support you on that. So we are also joined on the panel by our wonderful guests who are hosting a summit. And I believe it started with Chanel. And so I want to yield the mic to her for her to do her intro, and we'll go around and introduce everybody. But Chanel, thank you so much for coming and creating a space for women and men. So we have Mr. Kevin Vaughn with us as well. And so we're excited for all the work that he has been doing to support this movement that you have. But I want to yield the mic to you to introduce yourself and share a little bit about, you know, how this whole thing came about, what it is, and how we can get involved.
Well, LaChelle, thanks again for the opportunity for us to be able to engage. I'm just so excited about all the different connections today, and also connecting with Deshawn. I just really resonated with your story, just powerful. So I really want to share that information as well. As LaChelle said, I'm Chanel Coleman Wesley. I'm a best-selling author. I'm the CEO and powerhouse of CC's Inc., and I'm also the visionary for Black women authors. In addition to that, She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically Summit. The summit really kind of gave birth from a book idea, which is patterned after the same topic. She said yes to herself unapologetically. And I was at a space or a time where I was having some issues. I had a bad situation, and I was thinking either I'm going to feel sorry for myself and wallow in self-pity, or I can go ahead and pull my big girl panties up and see if we can make some lemonade out of the lemons. And so I actually contacted Laquita, and I was telling Laquita about some of my ideas. I wanted to create a space and a place where women could say yes to themselves unapologetically. So many times as women, we put ourselves, our ideas, our passions, the things that drive us and really kind of help us have our spark on the back burner, because we're so busy serving and giving to so many other things, which are important, our families, our careers, all these various spaces and places that we're saying yes to, but oftentimes we deny ourselves that own yes. And so when I talked to Laquita, she really resonated with that idea. And so we just kind of sparking ideas. She got in contact with Dr. Kevin Vaughn, who is amazing. He is our IT support and also helps with business ideas and strategies, which has been phenomenal. And then, you know, before we could go, she's like, we need an MC. And I know exactly the perfect person who's going to be, you know, for this position, which was Dr. Velma Bagby. And it was just like God was orchestrating all of these pieces, because we were looking for people and businesses who were interested into pouring into women passionately, purposefully, and powerfully to help women to realize their yes. And so it just kind of started from there and it went. So it's just an amazing space and place that we want to continue this conversation because we want women to be excited about what they can do in 2023 and beyond.
Love that. And, I love the collaboration. And, I'm going to pop over to Kevin because, being a male, with the title of a summit and, a lot of people just discount themselves and their value that they could add because it's like, oh, that's a women's thing. But want to yield the mic to you, Kevin, and just your thoughts on how we can be more inclusive and supportive regardless of our gender. So over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, LaChelle. What a great platform today. Repeat after me. We are family.
We are family.
I love it. We are all family, and every one of you I am connected to, even though I haven't even met some of y'all yet. It's amazing how that works, ain't it? Amazing. I had a good friend of mine, real quick, I'll just open up with this. He wrote a book, Custom Built by God. We are all custom built by God. But in that book, it said, how dare you not give me your best when I see you? So that's the first thing we must always do, is give our best to one another as we see each other. Because most of the time, we're not with each other a lot. So when we are together, we should give our very, very best. But this topic, and Brother Williams, thank you so much for what you said today as well. Can't wait to have you on our network to share more about your vision and helping those around the world as well. But one important thing is that every woman on the planet is a precious jewel. And I'm talking about men as well. And the reason why I say that, because every one of the women out there are unique. There is nobody like any one of you and ever will be like you. You may have a twin or someone that looks like you or something, but there's no one exactly like you, LaChelle. That's what's so important here, is that once I understood that, hey, there's no one like Kevin Vaughn, never will be, never was. I was created uniquely by the Creator, that I have a purpose in life. And our goal with She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetic is just to bring that out. The women are already there. We just have to bring it out. There's a great book that says the kingdom of God is within us, but a lot of us don't know we have it within us. So our goal is to just bring that out, ladies and men all across the globe. We just want to bring out their greatness, understand who they are. And just when you think about it, when there's nobody like you on the entire planet right now, we're talking about 8 billion people, guys, and there's nobody like you on the planet. That's pretty unique. And I get excited about it every time I think about how important you all are and how important men and women are all across the globe. So LaChelle, that's what it's all about. It's about our uniqueness. We talk a lot about diamonds and rubies and gold and how precious they are. But guess what? We are way more precious than all of that put together. That's what I get excited about. So when we bring that out in women, help them through technology, through thought, through mindset, through encouragement, empowerment, whatever LaChelle and Laquita and Dr. Bagby want to do for that, we're going to do it and keep the women fired up and moving forward so they can become who they are created to be. Thank you so much.
Love that. And I love that energy. I'm fired up.
Yes.
That is awesome. So we're going to go over to Dr. Velma because, it's important to be able to control the energy, you know what I mean, in the space. And, there's a lot of people that share and, continue the inspiration. I'm sure that's a very challenging role to have when it comes to such an event, because everybody has a different story and everyone is different in their healing journey. So I want to yield the mic to you, Dr. Velma, to please introduce yourself and share some of your thoughts.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I got an opportunity to get to know you in the intro and listen to your conversations, and I'm excited about this platform. It's just wonderful to get to know the ladies who's responsible for all of this, so thank you for having all of us. Look, I was a stranger to most of this team when I was invited to come in and to MC the very first event. But let me tell you, I walked away and there were some days I was very emotional listening to some of the stories. They were so compelling and so honest and transparent. So you walk in with the expertise that I have, and you're listening to these compelling stories and you're affected by them because they're so moving. And I'm so excited that I get to continue this journey with this team. We call ourselves the Fantastic Four because we believe in it. I was sold the moment I heard the very first presentation, and I got to know you, LaChelle, from that platform as well. So I've been kind of peeking at what you've been doing on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and I'm excited. So a little bit about me. I'm a 6-time award-winning author. I became a first-time author at the age of 64 in 2018. I had no idea that God had a yes for me built into that. I'm now releasing my 15th book next month, and I'm an ordained minister. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach, which is what that first book did. I thought the first book was a one-hit wonder, but God told me, no, you're retired now. So I worked in state government as a deputy administrator. I thought that was enough. I designed programs. I helped to build new managers. I designed training, all of that. I'm going, okay, take those shoes off. I'm done with all of that. But God said, no. Then here comes the book in 2018, and it's about the conversations my daughters and I had about dating and dating for marriage. And it was called Your Adam is Asleep Until God Opens His Eyes. And so that propelled me into this journey of becoming certified, because then God let me know that my yes was to help other women discover what I discovered. My husband and I just celebrated 49 years of marriage. And so why did he give me that gift? It must be because I'm now that Titus 2 woman, because I'm 68 now, and I'm that Titus 2 woman who now have to help the younger and share that wisdom that I gained. So it's not information I should keep to myself. So God let me know, no, you're not done yet. There's some more coaching to do. But this time, I need you to help coach women to date for marriage. And so that changes the strategies of dating. It changes how you enter a relationship, how you begin it. It changes how you examine the person. So here I am with this fabulous group of the She Said Yes to Herself. And I love it because not only are we saying yes, we're saying yes regularly. And that's what I discovered when I emceed that very first event. I had to say yes again, because it led me to rebrand, reboot, and reset what I was doing. So it's inspiration for everyone. I connected with business leaders I did not know that I'm still connected to, that has blessed my work, and I have poured into them. I've been coached by people like Laquita. Now here's the coach being coached, but oh my gosh, when you sit down with her, I had to have a pen and pencil ready to write down all her thoughts. I said, wow, I hadn't thought of that. So you learn that saying yes is not saying yes alone. Sometimes it's saying yes among the tribe of supporters that you have. And so that's what this event has done for me. And I'm excited to continue the journey with this team. So it's a pleasure to meet you all.
That is awesome and so inspiring. I'm like, hey, I'm glad you're in the room because, hey, I want to be like you when I grow up. So that is awesome. Love it. All right. So last but not least, we have Miss Laquita Parks. And please introduce yourself, share about what you do in the world and, you know, what this event means to you.
Thank you so much, LaChelle. Thank you again for this platform. I am Laquita Parks. I am the CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. And PayProV is Pain, Progress, Victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress. And without progress, there can be no victory. And I help people take their stories from a thought to a realization. It's all about the story for me. I did not know it. I didn't realize it when I first started PayProV Publishing in 2020. I was just trying to find me, trying to get away from you're not dying, but you are suffering. I was trying to reinvent myself. And in doing so, I did not know that God was orchestrating my life as God does. You don't know it until you look back and say, oh yeah, now I understand what was happening. And so in that orchestration, it led me first of all to you, LaChelle. So I met LaChelle first, and all of this all of this came about with me going through Facebook and hearing this amazing woman say, if I can help you in any way, reach out to me. And I thought, okay, well, let me try it. So I did. I reached out to you, and I reached out to you again, and I reached out to you again. And after that third time, Dr. V, I said, now, wait a minute. I know your services are not free. I know you got to charge something. And the beauty of it was that she never said no to my, and helped me. She helped me. So Dr. V, this is my coach. LaChelle was my coach. So I like to say, Dr. V, I learned from the best. Okay. And it is an honor to have Dr. V, as amazing as she is, say that I'm coaching her. That's just, I'm like about to fall out my seat. So thank you so much. So I had the opportunity to say yes to myself, and I believe collaboration is key. I didn't learn that from somewhere. I didn't learn that from anywhere. I learned that from LaChelle. And when I say that, I'm not saying that to blow smoke. I don't believe in doing that, but I am being 100% honest when I say that, because if anybody, and I know your co-hosts know this, anybody on this platform knows that LaChelle is a connector of resources. She's a connector of people. She has connected me with so many people, including Raschell, who I had an opportunity to be on her podcast, a beautiful, beautiful podcast that I have gotten so much feedback from. So thank you so much. And Misty and I will connect. We are going to connect. And Deshaun, man, my heart goes out to you. I love your story. And I'm so glad that you're still here. The world needs you. I'm so glad you're still here. She said yes to herself unapologetically. It is not just a summit, it's a movement. She said yes to herself. When I had an opportunity to meet Chanel, I had an opportunity to meet her in my environment face to face. I don't always get a chance to meet people. You get to know them through the virtual world. And sometimes they let you see who they are. So you get to know them in the virtual world. But when you have an opportunity to get up close and personal, you know these people are who they say they are. I've had an opportunity to get up close and personal with LaChelle. She's invited me to her home. I've met her children. I've met her family. I had an opportunity to meet Kevin face to face, and I had an opportunity to meet Chanel in my home, and she is who she says she is. So when she came to me and said, hey, I have this thought about this, she said yes to herself unapologetically. She had me at, hey, I have a thought, because she did. And so I bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. And those of you who know me know that I am very, very particular with who I mesh my brand with. Very particular. I will say no when it seems like I should be saying yes. I'll say no, because it has to work for me. It has to feel right. So when she said saying yes to yourself, I thought, wow, this is amazing. There are so many opportunities where we don't say yes to ourselves because we don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, or we want to say yes to ourselves, but we don't want to disappoint somebody. We don't want to orchestrate or move around things. So this summit, this movement is teaching women how to say yes to yourself and be unapologetic about it. That means to be content, be strong, be bold in your yes. So I've learned a lot from this. So when Chanel came to me with the idea, I was like, okay, I started orchestrating. Okay, I know somebody. Here's Kevin Vaughn. We need an IT person, because you cannot do things by yourself. LaChelle taught me that you need a team. Collaboration is key. And then I said, you know what? Because of the tone of it, I said, we need this person, that person. So I started reaching out to people. And what I love about Chanel is that she trusted me. She trusted me. So when I said I know somebody, she said, okay, I'm here for it. When I said I know somebody who can host this, who can be the MC, she said, I'm here for it. So she trusted me. And that's what I love about this team. We trust each other. They got me in the streets. Chanel got me in the she said yes streets. And some days she's like, hey, we doing this today. And I'm like, oh, I didn't put that on my calendar. And the only thing that is to do is just get my pen and paper out and put it on my calendar and rearrange some things on my schedule, because this is important. It's important. So saying yes to myself means being okay with no. It means being okay. Saying yes to myself means being okay when that client that I think that's the one, and they tell me no. Being okay with that no is saying yes to myself, because there is a reason that no happened. Saying yes to myself means letting people know that I am not a pushover, letting people know that I am important, letting people know that I have to be who I am and be unapologetic about it, because God has already gifted us. And I used to say God has given us, but God has already gifted us with everything that we need to do everything that we need to do, no matter where we are. That means what environment we're in, Deshaun. That means what physical, psychological, emotional, and mental position we're in, what financial position we're in. God has already equipped us. And you don't even have to believe that. Just live. Just live, because day by day it gets better. It gets better. And lastly, I want to say, I encourage you to say my name. I am the victim of medical childhood trauma, and I am just so sick of hiding behind that. I am sick of not exposing those who were responsible for me being crippled at the age of 4, for my pain for 49 years. And I don't say that lightly. When I say, if I can do it, you can, I mean that with everything that's within me. If I can get up every day and show up, then so can you. So saying yes to yourself means show up for yourself. Show up when nobody else is showing up for you. That's what that means to me. And March 7th and the 8th, you're going to hear my story. You're going to hear me say, this girl can. I'm going to talk about what I can do, because I'm sick of talking about what I can't do. So that's what she said yes to herself means to me.
Love that. I love that. And I'm going to pass it over to Misty for some questions that she might have, just for us to dive a little deeper. It's just amazing. It's already 2:38, and I'm like, man, we haven't even got
right.
But I am fired up.
What I love here. What I love is that I get a little right at the cusp of February turning into March. And for me as a writer, that's a big blank page. I love those. And so everyone here, I think, is an author on the panel. I've in 2022, I helped 73 people become #1 authors. So I love that little challenge. I publish short chapters, short pieces to help people decide if they want to go further, and then send them on to someone like Lakita. So what I want to say to the authors on the panel is just challenge yourself as we're on this new month, coming out of this love month and wanting to continue this self-love. Write exactly the story you said. Lakita, you touched on it. You were tired of saying the same thing. Don't write the negative anymore. And I think authors, sometimes we can get stuck in a rut of our writing pattern. And so if you do feel stuck, write a different story entirely, and for your own personal goals and your own. That's what I help people with, writing through it, into it. And as authors, we can do the same thing for ourselves. And sometimes I get a little bit stagnant in my own imagination because I'm helping my clients. And I would like to challenge myself the same thing in March, to write the most incredible story. So for myself, for my own life, for my own journaling.
Now, can you
share? I invite that for you guys as well.
Share an example of that, because, sometimes if we're on this loop, we forget that it is a simple change of word or something like that. So give us a
I'll try to be quick, because my story is we all have this crazy story. I lived on a mountain for about 1.5 years, unplugged, with a disabled adult child. And I had a ton of journals that I brought with me on this mountaintop for entertainment. And the old papers I'd used over the years. And I realized that the first 20 or 30 pages said the same thing over and over again. I buy a journal. I got broken up with. He lied to me. I hate this happened. Things start to feel better. I put the journal away. I get right back to dating inappropriately. He breaks up with me. I go buy a fresh new pink journal this time, because I'm going to make a difference. And I would literally write the same story. So I had my own data, and I went back and reread my own journals, as many as I could find. And I realized I had every red flag for every person I came in contact in business, in my romantic, dating world, that type of thing. And like Lakita, I do not do business if my Care Bear belly isn't going like this. I don't, because my journal has told me when I have that no, it always is the right answer. Yeah. It's when I question or try to get someone outside of me and God. I got a co-creator. I only need two, me and him. So if I go outside of that and try to convince myself otherwise, I never get to I may get there eventually, but I got so many more bumps and bruises than if I would have just the first time I saw it in my diary go, well, you wrote that yesterday and you didn't do anything about it. So put it down and go right now and have that conversation. So that's where I use writing for accountability. Read your own journals and then never write the bad stuff. As you break yourself of the habits, read what you wrote about the negative and then just break that writing habit and go, okay, now I write fairy tales. I have all the money I need and here's what I did today. Just write past your imagined roadblock and open that creativity again.
Love that.
I don't know if that's how you work. Okay, good. I don't know if that's how I went too far or too short.
I love that. So, Raschell, what do you have any questions or any thoughts for the group?
Not really questions, but just really impressed with what you guys are doing, because I think this is such an important topic. I'll just share quickly today, even with my 18-year-old daughter, I was listening to her speak and she kept saying this negative phrase over and over again. And I kept saying to her, you know, if you keep saying this, this is going to continuously just re-loop in your life. You have to change your pattern. And I said, look, I'm not trying to coach you. I said, but I'm just trying to share with you that you keep saying this over and over. It's going to keep showing up over and over. So change your verbiage. So I was trying to get her to recognize what she was saying was not supporting her. And that it's that thing that so many of our young generation need in the schools and in groups and communities is the proper verbiage and try and understand how to really bring what they want into their life by expressing in a beautiful way. So I think what you guys are doing and sharing is so amazing.
Love that. You know, and I love the whole thing of, you know, when we're coming from abundance, you know, it's just the word and, you know, so often when I was younger, I thought it had to be this way or that way. You know, it was such a scarcity mindset. But when you think and, you know, it's so much richer because there's room for everybody. So what you guys are doing is phenomenal. So I want to go around for everybody to kind of share any final thoughts. I mean, I can't believe it's already 2:43. I'm like, man, y'all need to come back because this is some good stuff. So we will start with Deshawn. Any final thoughts that you would like to share today about self-love? Any insight that you want to give or advice for people your age or anybody, whatever's on your heart, please share.
You know, the biggest advice that I can possibly share is something that I have to tell myself every day, because I have to tell people like mental health illness is not a one and done. It's an everyday struggle. You are not what you go through. You are a product of what you make out of it. So if you say that you will make it out of it and that you will become a successful person, that is who you will become. When you speak it, you go out there, you make the actions, and you believe it. That's what it's all about. So that's a little bit of advice that I can give today.
Awesome. And then how can people connect with you?
They can find me here on LinkedIn. They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Both usernames is at It's Deshawn W. So
awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. We wish you much success. And again, keep us posted on anything that we can do to support you. So we're over to Chanel. Hey, Chanel, any final thoughts and how everybody can get a hold of you?
Yes, thank you again, LaChelle and Misty and Raschell. It was amazing being on the show with everyone. I just love connecting with everyone. One thing that I want to say to everyone, but women in particular, that you know, you are worthy and you are deserving of your yes. There were so many times where I questioned myself, where I was always competing, you know, in my mind. If I had her this, or if I looked like this, or if I had this that mimicked hers, or this, then I would be this and I would be that. And when I put myself on a comparison list, I always fell behind. I never seemed to quite measure up to what I thought beauty was, or success was, or intelligence, all of these various things. But life really changed for me when I stopped comparing myself to everything and everyone else and just accepted who God created me to be and began to love on myself. And so loving myself caused me to take my yes. And at first, when I was saying my yes, I was saying it, sheepishly, like, yes, I don't want to say it too loud. I want to say it, timidly. But as I just became emboldened and as experience in life just brought me to a place in a space where I had to take my yes and I had to be unapologetic about my yes. So I want to encourage those who feel downtrodden, those who feel discouraged, those who feel like there's no way out, those people who are saying, you know what, I don't know if I can do it another day. I don't see my beauty. I don't think I can. I don't. I want to say to you, yes. Stop telling yourself no. We would love the opportunity to connect with you. There are so many amazing people and businesses that are connected to the She Said Yes to Herself platform. We just don't want you to miss out on this opportunity for us to be able to engage. People can connect with me. My name is Chanel Coleman Wesley. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. They can also connect with the She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically Summit at www.shesaidyes2herself.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are so glad for you and your energy, enthusiasm about such an important movement. So we are glad that you stopped by to help us all share your message with our audience. And we're going to go over to Brother Vaughn for your final thoughts and how we can connect with you.
Oh, what a great platform today from everybody. Let's say it again. We are family.
We are family.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm going to give 3 things real quick. I have to take some notes here while y'all was talking. 3 things I want to encourage you. These are the 3 things that I am doing too as well as a man, but this is for every woman on the planet as well. The first thing you got to understand is that you were born for purpose. You are here on the planet for purpose. No matter how you got here, it doesn't matter. I know there's some negative things that come up and all the other stuff, but we talk about the fact that you're here for a purpose. Our goal is to help you find that purpose. The next thing you got to do, you got to believe in you. I think Sister Chanel just mentioned that, right? You got to believe in who you are because you are a unique individual. There is nobody like you, again, in the entire universe. The Creator God has designed it that way. Last but not least, you got to voice activate your day. You got to voice activate it. Wake up and take charge of the day. That is so important. And we must teach our young people how to do that in a positive light and also in a strategic light, right? So we have to voice activate the show. We got to voice activate the day. We got to teach our young people how to do it, our young adults how to do it, but just purpose behind everything on why, because they deserve the very best of that day. And guess what? The day should never command us. We should always command the day. I'm excited about She Said Yes to Herself unapologetically, because that's what the movement's all about, is to encourage women to say yes and take charge of the day and do what they have to do to better themselves and to better our planet as well. And with that said, I'm sticking to it, and that's my story.
Awesome. And, tell us about your platform. You mentioned that you had a men's platform. Where can they find it? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Shell. Was so excited about everything else here. The website, real quickly, is MLT Networks, mltnetworks.net. We do business consulting, and we do media streaming services as well, and mentoring as well. On top of that, just to name it 3. Also, too, you can go to Men Let's Talk, menletstalk@gmail.com, menletstalk@gmail.com for the email. And then last but not least, the phone number. Feel free to text me and set up some time there as well. 404-401-0233, 404-401-0233. LaChelle, I got to tell everybody too, because we're giving this out to everybody on the planet. The network is giving out 15 to 30 minutes at no cost where you can come on for a business showcase. So we're so excited about that to help you out in that area. We have a tremendous network, global network. And so 15 to 30 minutes, no cost. You can come on our network. We got several different shows. One's called Power Connections. The other one is What You Can Do in 15 Minutes. That's my new one. What you can do in 15 minutes. You can talk to anybody in 15 minutes and get that information out. But we have some business showcases out there for you on the network where you can showcase your business on our network with us. So thank you so much, LaChelle.
Thank you so much. And that's generous. So I definitely will be sending some people your way. That's amazing. All right. So we are over to Dr. Velma. Over to you for final thoughts, how we can get a hold of you. What's your advice?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me. I'm on all social media platforms as drvelma.com. LinkedIn is easy because and Instagram, you can connect with my Linktree link, which provides all the details concerning what I do, where to go to get my books. I was listening to Misty. And her encouragement, Misty Lee, your encouragement regarding writing. If you see my books behind me, I started off writing one book. That's what I thought I was supposed to do in the beginning of 2020, The Catch No One Wants. It was based on the type of storytelling style that Jesus used in the parables, which today would be allegories or basically allegories or parables is what he wrote about. So I tried to take the approach of designing those stories the way he designed his, and that is to tell the story in a way that a person can see themselves in it, and then provide them the tools to get out of whatever it is they're in, and then give them the option at the end of the story to decide if they want the change. They can walk away after reading the story and hearing the story and not make any changes at all. But the response I got from that one book was so tremendous that there was a call for more analogies, because I use fish to describe the type of men you should not be dating. And so many, from the 85-year-old woman at the senior center to the youngest person I had to read the book, said, I met those men. I can recognize those men. And so from that very first book, I was asked to write more fish analogies. And so that's why the third book is coming out next month. I really love that approach because it's not preachy. It's not telling people, putting the finger, you're so wrong, you need to change. No, just tell the story. Let them see themselves. So many have complimented the approach. Where did you get the fish analogies? So genius. I said, well, there wasn't far. I didn't go far because they were used before. So I just want to bring that perspective. I'm going to be one of the speakers. I'm excited about that. I will be talking about dating, how not to date a fool. Though it sounds negative, the subcategory is using strategies to find the husband you deserve. That was the goal. There's a reason why God gave us over 60 scriptures talking about a fool. Why did he do that? Pay attention to that. So I'm hoping that when people come to the event, they will see that there's always a place for you to start. If it's the very first yes, to saying yes again, to resetting or retooling like I had to do, there's different stages that people may be in with their yes, but you'll discover what you need in this summit if you were able to tune in and join us. So I'm looking forward to meeting as many people as possible as I did with the last one. And I'm so grateful to meet all of you today. And Deshawn, I didn't acknowledge you, but I wanted to say, I appreciate what you said. I had 2 daughters that suffered with depression as well. So thank you for saying yes to your call as well.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. And that is good. I love how it's a series that's going with those books. So that's amazing. All right, we're over to you, LaQuita. Your final thoughts, best way for people to get a hold of you.
So first of all, thank you again, LaChelle, for inviting us to this platform. Misty and Raschell, it is a pleasure seeing you guys again and hope to connect. Hey, there's your coworker over there. She's so cute. Tell her hello. And what I want to do, I want to encourage everybody to pick up your mirror and look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. And don't worry that you don't feel it. This is an opportunity to fake it till you feel it. And all you have to do is start. When you start looking in the mirror and saying that you love yourself, the more you say it. If you can teach yourself to believe a lie, you can teach yourself to believe the truth. So when you hold that mirror up, or when you stand in front of that mirror and you say, I love myself, and you stand in that mirror every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and say, I love myself, you begin to fall in love with the person that you see in the mirror. And the person that you see in the mirror is the same person that God sees. No different, because God looks to our heart. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, look to the core of you and tell yourself that you love yourself, and you keep saying it. And so your I love myself might sound like this at first. I love myself. But then as you grow more and more comfortable with who you are in that mirror, then your I love myself will become bolder, and it will become firmer, and you will believe the truth of who you are. Saying yes to yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing selfish about it. There is nothing negative about it. There's no malice behind it. Saying yes to yourself means taking the opportunity to love the you that God loves. I am LaQuita Parks, and I can be reached at PayProV Publishing. That's PAPROVI Publishing.com. I am on all social media under PayProV Publishing or LaQuita Parks. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website. So you name it, except for TikTok. I think I'm on TikTok, but I don't know how to use it yet. So so you can find me there, and I just started doing reels. So, but you can always reach me through payprovpublishing.com. And listen, I'm all about the story. So I will say this: 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. 100% has a story. There is always somebody waiting on the other end of your story so that they can get healing from their story. So what happens to us is not for us. We cannot be hoarders of our stories. Share your story. The only people that cannot heal from your story are the people you don't tell. So share your story. Talk about your story. Deshaun, I need to connect with you. I'm so proud of you. And I thank you. I thank you. I'm just so glad that you're still here. And to God be the glory. So thank you again. That's my story. It's been a plump, pleasing pleasure, better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, Kevin Bunn, and I'm sticking to it.
Love that. Well, we are so glad that you guys joined us today, and we encourage everybody to reach out to you. We do have she said yes to herself.com going against the going along the bottom of the screen. So please go to the website to find out more information and connect. This is all about networking. Just because you see someone on a broadcast doesn't mean you can't reach out. That's exactly what happened to LaQuita and I. It's been probably 2 or 3 years ago, just simply from a video. We were complete strangers, and now so many events and collaborations we've had just from taking that step. So we encourage you to reach out. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Go ahead, LaQuita.
I'm sorry, but before I forget, LaChelle, just so because we want to thank you for inviting us on your platform, we would like to give away 2 free tickets to the summit.
Oh.
So you decide how that happens. So 2 of your listeners or 1 of you, however you want to do that, we are giving 2 free tickets to the 2-day summit. Just let us know how you choose. Send the email to us, and they will be invited to the summit both days, and they will have an opportunity to participate in the after party as well as the swag bag. So, and this is for men and women. So two guests, compliments of the fabulous 4. She said yes, team.
I love that. You know, what I'm going to do is challenge everybody, no time like the present. Share this video and tag us. Right? Just share and tag. So the first 2 that do that, I mean, there you go. Free tickets. You don't have to go outside, do anything.
That's
just
right.
Share the broadcast, right? And tag the Fantastic Four. Is that what y'all call them?
Yes.
Yeah, tag the Fantastic Four. That means get all their names and tag them. And we're going to go with the first 2 that we see. So thank you guys for that. That's just so awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us. And we will be back with our outros
But thank you guys again. So this is just wonderful, having this conversation and dialogue, because, we're not alone. That's the thing. We have a tribe, people that can really support us in some of the things that we're challenged with. So before we leave for today, I want to go around and share our final thoughts and takeaways. So Raschell, what really spoke to you today?
I think what really stood out for me was understanding to say what you need to say, not waiting for the validation of someone else to give you that permission. So for me, that was really powerful. Say what you need to say and don't look for other people's validation to confirm that you are a beautiful soul.
Love that. And what do you have coming up this week or in the month of March?
So in the month of March, well, tomorrow is the beginning of Discover Your Blueprint. So I start that. That's a month-long one-on-one where I work with my clients. And I also have an article which I wrote in The Best Holistic Life from Jana Short. And it's a short article about something that went on in my life in 2021, and that's coming out. And Janice Short is actually coming out tomorrow, the 1st of March as well, on my podcast. So I get to share her amazing transformational story as well. So definitely look out for those on Spotify and on other platforms to see those things. Yeah.
Love that. And I love that whole takeaway. Say what you need to say. That is so important, because sometimes it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to be transparent. So I love that. What about you, Misty? What are your final thoughts?
I'd like to tie them together. Say what you need to say, and that we're not alone, and begin to be your own adult. Don't wait till it's to that point where you feel like you've got an explosion coming, and then you're asking people to be trauma counselors. Say what you need to say when you need to say it, rather than letting those things fester up. Because I would much rather hear, hey, Misty, I'm going to be 5 minutes late, than us have an explosion because you tried to force yourself into my 2:00 appointment or something like that. So say what you need to say when you need to say it. Begin to cultivate those safe places with people that you get those expectations up front and you're honest about it. And then I want to say something else we have coming in March. The three of us are co-authoring together in a book called Now What? And it is when you make a decision, you make a boundary, you decide this is what I'm going to protect, and okay, now what? And it shows up in a lot of different ways. So that's a big thing we have coming out in March as a collective. And I'm looking very forward to that, because that is my primary, it's where my presence is most of the time, working with the 30 of the authors that are participating and making sure that I'm present and your chapter goes out the way you want it. So that'll come out mid-March. I'm excited about that.
Really excited about that. And, I think my takeaway was you can teach yourself to believe the truth. That was so good, because how often are we believing somebody else's story, or a story that just doesn't serve us, right? Out of our routine and habits. And I mean, that really showed up so strongly when you were talking about your journals, because I have tons of them myself, but, rewriting that same thing, having that same space that you kind of create for yourself when you're not at your best. And it just, continuing that vicious cycle. So that to me was a great takeaway. And always on LinkedIn. I think that was my second home between that and Clubhouse, but having conversations about hard topics. We are doing a study on the book Connected to Goodness. So you can always find me in audio rooms there or on Clubhouse. And looking forward to this book that we are doing together. So
it's powerful. So powerful.
Yes.
Now
powerful.
What is a good question to ask yourself? Now what?
Now,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, we want to thank everybody for joining us today as we close this chapter of February. If you would like to be a guest, we will put in the comments how you can get on the calendar and just have a conversation. I do want to give a couple shout outs. Mary has been joining us, and she sent me this. It's called The Storymatic. And LaQuita, I know, or any of the authors would appreciate this, because it really sparks writing. So you grab some cards of a certain color, and you start telling stories with the things that are on the card. So really creative. And then I had another person who sent me some chocolate with essential oils in it.
Oh, nice.
It's the essential oil company. They now have chocolate that you could have with some of those oils. So that's Gail Speckcamp who sent that. And then she also sent some little cookie cutters that came with it and the oil that I could use to bake and make with.
Nice.
So I just want to give them a shout out. That was just so thoughtful. But anything else you guys have before we shut it down?
No, I think it was an amazing show today. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we thank you guys, those of you that watched alongside of us. You know, I'm just not the best multitasker. So, you know, it's all about just, hey, staying engaged, and we'll be commenting later. But again, I want to thank all the guests that were here with us today. If something they said resonated with you, please reach out to them. We also want to highlight, She Said Yes to Herself Summit, which will be happening in March. So go to the website that's going across the bottom of the screen, and we would love to have you support them on this movement, because you may not be able to make it, but you still could share the content. There's somebody in your network that could benefit from the information. So we want to wish you all a wonderful, amazing day, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.